This is the absolutely stunning historic town of Saint-Émilion. It makes for a perfect day trip from Bordeaux, and in this guide I'm going to tell you all about it. To reach Saint-Émilion, you can take a train from the main Saint-Jean station in Bordeaux. The journey takes about 35 minutes. The trains are modern and comfortable, but this is a popular trip, so it can also be quite crowded. Once you arrive in Saint-Émilion station, you will have a 15 to 20 minute walk to reach the historic town. Just follow the road and admire the nice French countryside along the way. Saint-Émilion is very small and very compact, and everything in it can be reached within a few minutes walk. As it was winter, not everything was open and we weren't able to do a wine tour, so instead concentrated on exploring the unique and fabulous streets and architecture that make it a UNESCO World Heritage Site. First up, we headed to the King's Tower, or Tour de Roy, which sits on the western edge of the town and is hard to miss. It was built in 1237 and is about 15 metres high. It can be visited, but sadly wasn't open on our trip, but it's still very much worth walking up and exploring the terraces around the tower, as these give amazing views over the town. Next up, it's worth spending some time exploring the narrow streets of the town. These are all lined with historic buildings and are simply wonderful to meander around and get lost in. If you're here for wine, you will also find many wine merchants and shops selling local vintages, as well as plenty of restaurants and cafes. At the north end of the town, you will find the Saint-Émilion Collegial Catholic Church, which is free to enter and probably the most interesting thing to see in the town. As its name suggests, it started life as part of a monastic complex. Construction started in the 12th century, but with much of the current building dating from the 13th to 15th centuries, as you can see by all the awesome Gothic architecture. Yep, they sure took their time building stuff back then. The interior is simple and elegant and has a long single nave without side aisles. To the side you can enter the historic cloisters. These are lovely to explore, and it's easy to imagine the canons peacefully walking around here in medieval times. On one side is a more modern work of art called the Apocalypse, which is about 35 metres long and 5 metres high. It's incredibly detailed and colourful, and despite being modern, it actually enhances the beauty of the historic cloisters. One of the most unique places in Saint-Émilion is the Monolithic church and its bell tower. We only had time to visit one, so chose the bell tower because I like a good view. The Monolithic church can only be visited via guided tour, which will show you around the large underground church, built almost entirely into the rocks. It sounds fascinating and I regret we didn't have time for it. Let me know in the comments if that was a big mistake or not. The bell tower can be visited by paying to borrow the key from the tourist information office. Once you climb the steps inside, you get some outstanding panoramic views over the town and the surrounding countryside. It was simply breathtaking. The final place we visited were the Cloister des Cordeliers, or Cloisters of Cordeliers, which is another former monastic complex dating from the 13th century. At some point it became abandoned and is now a wine merchant and venue with a restaurant. You can freely explore the lovely gardens to see the remains of the monastic complex. The architecture here is really fascinating. There's also a giant wine cellar that can be explored as part of the guided tour. Overall, it's a lovely spot, and we especially like the small overlook outside, which gives these incredible views over the town. That's it for Saint-Émilion. I missed a few things, so I'm going to need to return one day to visit all that underground stuff. Thanks for watching, and cheerio!